What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. This one is a little bit improv. We're in the middle of literally nowhere, just literally dirt in every direction.
At a gas station.
At a gas station. Because we meant to film this while we're still back at the Airbnb in Vegas, but you know how things go. This is something I've really wanted to do for a long time. If you guys don't know already, this is my really good friend, Jordan Shrinks.
Hi. Yum! My hair is done. Are you ready to see it? Are you ready to see it? And I do not want to be here. I literally had to scream with Zach to hype myself up for this.
She's lost a ton of weight and she did it while vegan. So I really wanted to have her sit down on the channel. For those people who are trying to lose weight, who are maybe thinking about going vegan or already vegan and just want to see some tips about that kind of stuff. Also, we have guests. Yo! Yeah.
So if you see a finger or something, you're not seeing things, or a toe.
Okay, so first off, how much did you weigh before you started losing weight? What was like the original thing that like contributed to you gaining weight?
Okay, so when I decided I wanted to lose weight, it was January of 2016. So I went vegan the day I started losing weight. And I was 303.4 pounds. Today I'm like 168, so I've lost nearly 140 pounds. Before I went vegan, I was vegetarian. So the problem that I had when I was vegetarian is I just relied a lot on dairy because I didn't know anything about nutrition. Like, I really didn't learn anything about nutrition until like halfway through my weight loss journey. I just relied on like a lot of cheese, a lot of pasta, like just a lot of super fatty and carby foods.
Yeah.
And I just had no idea like what I was eating essentially, because when I grew up, you know, it was like, cheese is healthy. Like,
yeah,
all
milk
this stuff is
healthy.
And I mean, I do have to put some blame on myself because I obviously knew I was over consuming. Like that was my main problem, is like my portions were massive. Like they were just copious amounts of food. So that's definitely what contributed to my highest weight. And also just going away to school. So when I was at home, you know, my parents, like, I was just more like, people saw what I was eating more, so I ate more appropriately. While when I went away to school, I was like, it was just free reign.
It's a big factor, right? Like when people are watching you, you're always playing it better.
Yeah.
And when you're by yourself, especially like late at night and kind of stuff
exactly.
like that.
And I was infamous for it, like waiting until everyone went to bed when I was in university and going upstairs and just eating the fucking food.
Yeah, you were telling us that one story the other day. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, I got a lot of stories like that.
So why did you like first decide to do veganism? Did you try to go vegan to lose weight, or does that just happen to kind of coincide?
Kind of, yeah. So I went vegetarian in 2012 after like an animal rights video. And then I went vegan after realizing that I had developed a really unhealthy dependence on dairy. So I thought that's easy to cut out, because when I first started losing weight, I did look into like fats, carbs, proteins, everything. And I was just so shocked to see how calorically dense like cheese was.
Yeah.
So I decided to cut all that stuff out for my health. And then as I kind of learn more about veganism and everything like that, it turned much more into like politically driven, so like environmentalism. Yeah.
Doesn't that kind of feel like how it goes? Like,
yeah.
You go for whatever reason, sometimes health, sometimes skins, whatever thing it is, and then you start.
And then you just learn about all the avenues of like why it could be beneficial. So
like set your roots, and then your roots deeply grow.
Yes.
Yeah. Why do you think that you were able to lose a good amount of weight on a vegan diet? Anything specific? And do you think it's different than? And it's kind of hard because you were vegetarian before this, but do you think it's different than when someone tries to lose weight when they're not on a vegan diet?
I don't. The only difference I would see is that, like I said, it's just easier to cut out a lot of high-fat foods because you're not eating dairy or anything like that. And dairy is something that I feel like a lot of people don't realize is so high in fat. I think the reason I was able to lose weight, I don't think it necessarily has anything to do with veganism. I think veganism kept me healthier in weight loss, which I think are two very distinct things. I lost weight just by eating less and exercising. But since I've been vegan the entire time, I've been more cognizant or more aware of what types of foods I'm eating, because I know there are a lot of trends and a lot of information, I guess, and it's just people are often searching for like, even if it's super unhealthy, they'll eat whatever it is to lose weight. With saying that though, I do think I lost a lot of weight, or I know I lost a lot of weight because, like I said at the beginning, I didn't know anything. So I just didn't, like, I had a very steep caloric deficit at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like with the American diet in general. If you're just eating any types of food, you don't even realize how much is a little bit of cheese is snuck into that thing that you had, like a little soup you had. You didn't know that there was cheese in that soup. And so now the soup that you thought you had 140 extra calories.
Yeah, like when I found out the calories in like broccoli cheddar soup, I was just ashamed.
Sad. and then like with veganism, now that there's more products, I feel like it's a little easier to get things kind of mixed in there. You have vegan cheeses and stuff, but more so you have to kind of like say, I want to put vegan cheese into this soup that I'm making or getting. You have to like add the extra stuff.
Yes, exactly. It's not as accessible.
It's not a package deal.
Yes, and I feel like, especially for me, when I went vegan in 2016, we already get stuff later in Canada. So when I first went vegan, there was nothing. Like, veganism in general has just exploded so much over the past 3 years.
Which is tight.
I know. I just remember. I remember when we got our first vegan ice cream. It was Ben and Jerry's. You guys had already had it for like a year, but when it came to Canada, it was like the first vegan ice cream, and that was like 2 years ago.
And we had like our 8th flavor. By then.
And now you go to the grocery store, and it's like there are sections of dairy-free ice cream. So
huge
like
size.
huge sections. So I would definitely think in the beginning, like it would have been a very big effort on my part to actually, like you said, put in like vegan cheese and something, because I had to search for that shit.
Yeah, and I think it's a little bit easier to get those extra calories now because there's so many other options.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, if somebody is vegan already, or they're just about to go vegan and they want to lose weight, maybe like a tip or a couple of tips, what are some pieces of advice that you would give them? I
would say just be more aware of what you're eating, because when I first went vegan, there was a lot of talk from other vegans that like you can eat whatever you want to lose weight, and I feel like I just remember that mindset of being like, I'm vegan, I can eat whatever I want, but that's not true at all. Like regardless of your diet, a calorie is a calorie. So I would definitely look into what you're eating. It's very easy to fall into the vegan that only eats Oreos, you know what I mean, or only eats super junky foods. I know people who have gained weight going vegan because they go from, you know, their old diet, which was more balanced, to just trying to find anything that's vegan, because it's like a game. It's like, what's vegan? What can I eat? And it's always like, they always go for the Oreos, they find the vegan donuts, and I've definitely been there where I prioritize those foods because they're exciting. But if you are looking to lose weight, it's just, you gotta do it the same way. Track your calories. Just be aware of what you're eating.
And it can be like really easy to, like, you're like, well, I haven't tried everything since I've gone vegan. But you'll never try everything because there'll be a new donut shop that opens up, and now there's the new ice cream place.
That took a while for me to learn that, because when I first went vegan, even now, like I'll look up like, what does Burger King have? And it's like, when I first came here, the first time to California, they had the French toast sticks, which are vegan. And that whole trip, I was like, I need to try these French toast strips because they're vegan, and I never did, and I still haven't, because I kind of realized like there's shit everywhere now. Like it's just Burger King French toast. Like,
how long did it take the original weight loss? How long did that take?
10 months.
That's pretty fast.
Yeah, so I lost weight really fast, and I mean, I've talked about it a lot on my channel, and that's kind of what I was mentioning about like the super steep caloric deficit, just not really knowing at that time that like I wasn't eating enough. So I do attribute like my rapid weight loss to just kind of a lack of education. And if I could redo it, I would honestly do it healthier.
Do it like slower.
Slower, yeah. But luckily I'm in a place now where like I understand nutrition, because I've just had the opportunity to learn more about it. Mostly because of like our friend group, Zach especially, just watching other people's videos and being like, oh.
I feel like it really helps to have a community when you're trying to do a goal, especially like with weight loss. It's really good to have other people who are doing it with you and or have already done it. And so you can rely on them. You can also kind of like, I don't know, it's not like they force you or make you feel bad if you tell them what your goal is and you don't hit it, but it's like if you tell people you're going to do something, it kind of makes you want to do it more, because you know you're going to have to talk to them at the end of the month or something like that. Yeah,
and that's funny you say that, because that's why I even started a weight loss account.
It's just for accountability?
Yeah, accountability. Like when I first started it, I had like 10 followers, you know, and like those 10 people were cheering me on every photo. Like I'm like, I lost 5 pounds, and they're like, yeah, you did. And it's just having that accountability to kind of like fall back on, and sharing that commonality with other people was definitely a really motivating factor for me.
Yeah, it's exciting to have people like pushing you forward, and then if they're good people, when you mess up, they lift you up and say it's okay.
Exactly.
Back to it next week.
Exactly.
For people who ask this, I don't know if you actually do follow any sort of specific macro ratio, dieting, high carb, low carb, any of that kind of stuff. Is there something specific that you did? Is there something specific that you do now?
Yeah, so when I was losing weight, I was definitely, I would say I would fall in the high carb category. When like I said, I didn't know much about anything when I started, so I was lacking on protein for sure. Since, you know, dating Zach, I've learned more about just like certain macros I need to hit to be healthier. Yeah. I wouldn't identify myself as high carb now because, see, when I first started dieting, I feel like that became my identity. Like my bio said, like, high carb vegan, you know, it's like so easy to fall into making your diet your identity.
Yep.
And since then, obviously, I don't think my identity is my diet. So I do definitely eat higher carb now, mostly because I don't do well with like high fat foods. Like I just can't digest them properly. But I would just say I'm vegan over anything. I wouldn't be like I'm.
And you say, yeah, like if somebody was asking you, wouldn't necessarily say like, because I do high carb, you should do high carb.
Oh, no.
You'd fall more into the camp of like, figure out what your body processes best.
Yes.
What makes you have the best energy and feels and makes the most satiated.
Exactly, because I know people who like carbs don't sit well for them, like processed carbs, while I can eat bread all day.
Yeah.
But the second I have something deep fried, I'm like out for 2 days. So
yeah, I eat this weekend. We had
I know. I'm gonna be out for a week.
We had this place called the Modern Vegan. So total sidebar, but it was so good, freaking good. If someone's gonna start in a week or two from now and they don't have a plan yet, what should they do? Should they like?
I feel like this is a contested subject in veganism because for me, like I went vegan overnight. From vegetarian, obviously. Like I just cut everything out, you know, at once. But for a lot of people, I think that it is more viable or easier for them to slowly integrate it. I'm one of the vegans that thinks that like any change is positive change, especially coming from like a politically motivated background. Like even if we encourage someone to have meat one less day, like that decision I think should be celebrated opposed to demonized, because I know a lot of people will jump on people trying to make a difference and say you're not doing enough or you're not doing it quick enough. My best advice when anyone asks is start by finding alternatives that you actually enjoy. Because if you just throw yourself into it and then you start eating like vegan things that like are very
like super quinoa or like sprouted lentils,
or like
you're not
something
used to.
that like the vegan community is already very, they don't agree on like certain types of cheese. Like every type of food that you find, I feel like that's vegan. You're either gonna hate it or you're gonna love it. So that's what I would recommend is find small things and go at your own pace. Like there's no pressure to go overnight or even in a week, really. Like any change is positive change, I feel. Yeah,
I think that's actually good advice, even like for veganism and weight loss. And it kind of depends on your personality type, but I think sometimes people, when they do fat loss, they try to go from Sunday to Monday and it like just full stop, completely different lifestyle. And it's hard because it's like abrasive.
Exactly, and it usually scares a lot of people because they're suddenly like faced with the reality that the change is so drastic that they just assume it's not possible. So if it's small change, it's gonna work.
It's gonna be easier to stick to.
Like I said, I was vegetarian, so it really wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
I didn't really eat anything besides cheese, so I was just like, cheese is gone.
Yeah, you were already playing the long game. You just didn't know it.
Yeah, exactly. I never really liked like butter or anything, so.
Same. My brother used to eat butter, just. That's it. Just bite it.
Yeah, no.
Pretty gross. All right, I think that's pretty good. I'm sure we'll do other videos and podcasts in the future.
Yeah.
Make sure you check out Jordan Shrink. She's amazing. She's a super good friend of ours. Part of like our 8 to 10 person squad. You guys will see us if you follow us along on stories and stuff. And I think that's it. I just made sure I wanted to get this video up. Sorry it's in a car. Future stuff will be better. But we hope this served you very well. If you enjoyed this, make sure you give it a big old thumbs up. Let us know what you'd like in the comments below. Subscribe like she's saying. Team Beyond the Week. CT.
Lift heavy or die Myron, motherfucker.
Team Beyond the Week.